What's up, everybody? Josh Armijo here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to show it to you right now. This is the new album from the band Deiphago, entitled Into the Eye of Satan. This is released on Hells Headbangers Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this band, they were originally based out of the Philippines, but are now based out of Costa Rica. And the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very relentless, blasphemous, chaotic hybrid of both black metal and death metal. Yeah. This band has been around for almost 25 plus years, and in the course of time, these guys have continually gotten better and better with age. From their early 90s demos to their later 2000s work, this is a band that really knows how to be what they say they are. Very straight to the point, in your face sort of metal. And my first introduction to this band was their 2012 effort entitled Satan Alpha Omega. I was just blown away by that record. It was just so relentless, continuous punishment, great riffs, awesome vocal stylings, fast drumming. It was just an in-your-face, chaotic sort of record. And that album only led me on to their previous works, most notably their Rape Slay of the Virgin Mary demo, to albums like 2006's Satanic Eon and 2009's Filipino Antichrist. Just a really solid body of work this band had, and these guys know how to deliver great, great metal. But once word got out that they were going to be working on a new album, I was very excited to hear what was going to be happening next from this band. More specifically, to find out that they were going to be working with Colin Marston, whom of course you know from bands such as Krallis and Dysrhythmia and Gorguts. He was going to be handling the production and the mixing and all of the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I was curious to know what kind of style he was going to be bringing to a band as raw and as chaotic as Deiphago. I wanted to know how he would make something for them work. And now here we are with their fourth full-length entitled Into the Eye of Satan. It's 9 tracks, and it clocks in at around 35 minutes in length. And I would honestly think that a band like Deiphago isn't in any sort of need for any sort of revitalization or reawakening, but listening to Into the Eye of Satan feels as though you're listening to Deiphago at their most bestial and at their most chaotic. From the minute you hear the intro to the next 8 tracks downward, you realize that this is Deiphago ready to attack and ready to deliver some just chaotic, straight-to-the-point metal. It is just the best I've ever heard this band sound. And of course, while they have somewhat of a newer approach to their sound, this is still as raw and as bestial as Deiphago can get. Music-wise, it's just a whirring cacophony of hateful, destructive riff work. I love the way that the riffs are on this album, the way the guitar is being handled here. It is just so powerful. It works extremely well in this album's setting and tempo. You hear it on tracks like Evil in a Verse, 6x6x6/3. I don't think there's a proper way to say that, but that's how I'm going to say it here in this review. Just the riff work on those songs are just tremendously powerful, very loud, very thudding, very much in your face. Even the solo work is just as frantic and as chaotic as the main riff work that's being done on here. It really does sound powerful, and it's swarming, to say the least. It has that phone booth sort of quality. You're being confined. As the listener, you're being confined and you're hearing all these really buzzing, crazy riffs being presented on here. And the bass work on here is very awesome too. It's very gritty, very loud, very rambunctious. I love the way these bass guitars playing is really awesome. I love the way that everything is represented here when it comes to the bass tone. It gets just as much great treatment as the main guitar riffs that are being done here on Into the Eye of Satan. It really does sound awesome. When it comes to the drums, pretty much it's the typical sort of Deiphago drum performance. It's fast, it's chaotic, and it's relentless from the very get-go. I was expecting that sort of drum performance on a record I'm used to hearing a drum performance like that on a Deiphago record, but when it comes to Into the Eye of Satan, this is the most punishing drum performance I've ever heard from this band. This guy that they have with him for the guy that they have for this record, he is just a maniac. I love the snare tone that just pops whenever you hear it being used on this record. Whenever you hear the fast fills and the blast beats, it's just so fast, so crazy, it's unstable sounding, and I love that about this drum performance. That's the point of a record like this, is to have drums that are just so fast and blistering, you just don't know how to approach it. It almost feels abrasive upon first listen. But once you get more into the psyche of this album, you'll love how fast and crazy these drums are. It's just so chaotic and intense. Especially, once again, mentioning the production aspects of this album. The production really does bring out the best in this band's musicianship. The instrumentation, the riff work, the bass tones, the drumming, the snare tone, the fills, it just feels so right for a band like this, and I think this is really one of the better production jobs I've heard all year long. And when it comes to the vocals, of course, Voltaire is a very intimidating and very straight to the point frontman. He knows what he's talking about. He feels he's pretty much getting on his pulpit ready to preach hell to you, the word of Satan and everything else. The way he does it, it just sounds so crazy. Very, very maniacal sounding vocal delivery, very well worded, very articulate sounding, but it's done with a lot of bravado and a lot of great force. And I love the way that Voltaire sounds in his vocal performance here. It's really amazing to hear him say the stuff that he says and how he does it. It's a tremendous vocal performance, and I really applaud a band like Deiphago for making a record like this possible. So overall, if you are a fan of this band's work, if you were a fan of their last record, I think you're going to like Into the Eye of Satan a great deal more. This is a revitalized, refreshed, and just straight up ready to attack sort of performance from Deiphago. I think this is just a marvelous piece of black metal, death metal, or whatever tag you want to put this band in. It's just evil metal. Let's just call it that. They are evil metal as can get. If I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say Evil in a Verse, Bloodbath of Genocide, Serpentine Anti-World, Calculated Acts of Cruelty, and the closing title track. I think it's incredible. So I'm going to leave you some links in the description box of how you can get a hold of this album and listen to it. I will link you to the Hells Headbangers Bandcamp page, where you can currently stream selected tracks that are currently available on the Bandcamp page right now. You can pre-order it digitally. It will be available in full on August the 7th. And I will also link you to the Hells Headbangers web store, where you can purchase a physical copy. It is available on CD right now. There are also tape and vinyl versions soon to be available, and starting from August the 27th through September the 2nd, this band will be embarking on some North American tour dates. One tour date I want to point out in particular is August the 29th in Houston, Texas. They will be playing at the White Swan alongside the Plutonian Shore, Sardonic Witchery, Termination Force, Funeral Ash, Sacral Curse, and on September the 5th they will be playing day 2 of the second edition of Hell's Head Bash in Cleveland, Ohio at the Agora Ballroom. They will be playing alongside bands such as Satanic Warmaster, Profanatica, Embalmer, Deceased, and a slew of great bands. I am so very excited to finally get to see this band live up close and personal. It's gonna be crazy and chaotic from the start. So let me show you the album again. This is Into the Eye of Satan by Deiphago. This is released on Hells Headbangers Records. Go support this. And I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Very intense, satanic metal from one of the very best bands doing it. So support Deiphago. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Armijo out.